A very turbulent time in South Africa, especially here in the Eastern Cape. As we understand, the automotive sector attributes to at least a third of this province's economy. It is indeed the backbone of this economy alongside agriculture, two big sectors which export a lot of their products. We've been seeing companies in this area that are in hot water right now, companies running short time, companies retrenching people, and companies altogether just closing their doors. But I mean, how far does this actually reach? And that's why we're joined now by economist and lecturer here at the Nelson Mandela University, Prof. Ncwadi. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Just tell us how deep does this go? How does this affect the everyday person here in Gqeberha or in South Africa as a whole?
Yes, it's going to have a negative impact on the people in the street in terms of the incomes, because the products that we export to the US are now going to be high priced, and then there will be no demand for those products, and that will lead them to these companies having to retrench their people, and because they won't be able to sell. And that then means that poverty will increase, inequality gap is going to increase. But that should not really be the end of it all, because I think what South Africa needs to do now is start to diversify their markets. We need to take advantage of the fact that we are part of BRICS. We have China, which previously announced free trade, tariff-free exports, and so on. So I think we need to take advantage of that. We need to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement so that we can be able to sell our goods within Africa itself, so that we don't shut down businesses. So I think it's important to do that, because your motor industry, automotive sector, your agricultural sector is going to be affected badly, and that is our backbone, in the Eastern Cape economy.
As we understand, if we look at other countries like China, some European countries, they are heavily subsidized by the governments. Do you think that's a possibility that we have here in South Africa, that maybe our government can bail out our companies, to keep business here, to keep investors here, so that our people can keep their job?
Exactly, yes. I think that's very important. Even the US and many other developed countries, they are in fact subsidizing their primary sector. It's very important. Way back in the 80s, we were talking about globalization. America was advocating for that, but America was subsidizing their primary sector, the agricultural sector. So we need to do that to curb, any other unfair competition against our local producers. So the government must really now intervene and help the business not to die out while they're going through this problem, and also retain their employees. It can only happen through the state subsidy, where it can help the farmers, including the motor industry, the automotive sector. If the government can really come in and put in some funds there to keep them in business.
And then lastly, Prof, in your professional opinion, you've been in the sector your entire life. If we were hypothetically to lose our automotive sector and our agricultural markets, what does that mean for the Eastern Cape? Would our economy, would we lose our economy altogether?
Oh yes, it is going to be a kind of a recession of some sort, because there will be no production taking place, and then all those people are going to be laid off from work. The families will be more poor, and we simply will not be able to survive it. If that happens, those companies will close, which are the one that generate income for many families, especially in the Eastern Cape and the province, and even Gqeberha itself. So it will be something that's be detrimental. We wish it doesn't go that far. That's why an immediate thing we need to do now is call the state to be involved, because even during the Great Depression, Keynes, one of the well-known economists, called for state intervention when the world was going through that Great Depression. Even now, we do need a fiscal push to help these businesses to survive.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was just Prof. Ncwadi, our economic specialist here in Gqeberha, just telling us how dire the situation really is. And it's not just a call from him, it's a heat from the manufacturers, from the workers in these factories, from the supply chain, asking government, calling on subsidies to bail them out of this very, very tough time. If we look at stats and we look at what economists are saying, what the labour market is saying, we are set to lose about 100,000 jobs. And losing this market is something the Eastern Cape at this point in time cannot survive. But for us, here in Gqeberha, it's back to you guys in studio.